Almost everyone can name a few great sculptures or statues. Christ the Redeemer is probably the most iconic on the planet. Although if you wanted to lean a little more frightening, you might bring up something like the Point Pleasant Mothman. But we're not here to talk about globally recognized monuments today. Instead, we're looking at some of the more eccentric, peculiar, and unbelievable statues from around the world. And trust us, once you see these 15 creations, you'll be wondering how and why on this holy earth they even came to exist. Let's begin with number 15, a Spider-Man camel. Let's play a game. The sky is blue, the grass is green, and there is a spider camel in the middle of Dubai. Okay, what's your answer? Well, technically the sky is not blue. It looks blue to you because of something called Rayleigh scattering. The atmosphere scatters shorter blue wavelengths of sunlight more than other colors, so that's what hits your eyes. The grass is also not truly green. It contains chlorophyll, which absorbs red and blue light but reflects green, so that's what you see. And as for the spider camel in Dubai, well, believe it or not, this statue does exist. It is right in the middle of a public place in Abu Dhabi, and it is called Spider-Man. And I have so many questions about why this thing was created and what it represents. However, it is a great reminder that reality can sometimes be stranger than fiction, especially when it comes to Dubai. This camel can't shoot webs or climb buildings, but it's a unique and interesting piece of art. Number 14, Spot. Well, imagine you're stressed and walk into a hospital and then, bam, there's a massive Dalmatian balancing a full-sized New York City taxi on its nose. Not just any dog, Spot. He's 30 feet tall, planted outside the Hassenfeld Children's Hospital, and he's not going anywhere. Artist Donald Lipsky built this gentle beast with help from engineer Nick Gertz, and everything about it screams, "Hey, it's okay, you're safe here." In fact, what's even cooler is that engineer Ryan Emmendorf added working windshield wipers that flick on when it rains. No announcement, no plaque bragging, just pure kindness in design. Spot was installed in 2018, and since then, he's become more than a statue. He's welcome. He's a distraction when you need one. He's a friendly giant who tells every nervous kid walking through those doors that this place isn't all scary. And maybe that's what makes him so powerful. He doesn't bark, but he says plenty. Number 13, Iron Panda. Iron Panda isn't just a mashup of cute and armored, it's a 30-foot-tall commentary on modern life. Sculpted by Bai Heng while graduating from the Central Academy of Fine Arts in Shenyang, this fusion of Panda and Iron Man turns heads for its sheer audacity. The panda, China's endangered national symbol, stands wrapped in a gleaming red and gold suit straight out of the Marvel universe. But beneath the superhero cosplay is a sharp message. Bai Heng sees the panda as a stand-in for nature and the Iron Man suit as a metaphor for humanity's obsession with tech. To him, the sculpture represents a growing disconnect between human innovation and environmental responsibility. It's not preachy, just powerfully visual. The piece strikes a rare balance, thought-provoking without being overbearing, whimsical without losing its message. Whether you read into the deeper meaning or just admire the bold creativity, it's impossible to ignore. Number 12, Transi de René de Chalon. Some statues try to immortalize beauty. This one? Well, it's a full-on reminder you're going to die. Inside the Saint-Étienne Church in Bar-le-Duc, France, stands the decaying likeness of Prince René de Chalon. Ligier Richier sculpted it in the 1500s at the prince's own request. He didn't want to be remembered as noble or strong. He wanted the world to see him as a skeleton, half covered in skin, holding his own heart. And yes, the statue actually held his real heart inside a cavity in the chest. It's not dramatic for effect. It's literal. The entire thing is a blunt punch in the face about mortality, rot, and legacy. There's no polished armor or marble muscle here, just skin peeling from bone and a heart in his hand. Some people call it gruesome, but it's real. It stares death in the eye and doesn't blink. And that somehow is exactly what he wanted. Number 11. Shoes on the Danube bank. Not all sculptures aim to impress. Some exist purely to remind. Along the banks of the Danube River in Budapest, 60 pairs of 1940s-style iron shoes sit quietly, each pair marking a life violently stolen during one of Hungary's darkest chapters. In 1944, after Hitler replaced Miklos Horthy with Ferenc Szalasi, the fascist regime carried out mass executions of Hungarian Jews. Victims were ordered to remove their shoes before being shot at the river's edge. The shoes were kept. The bodies drifted. Film director Can Togay and sculptor Gyula Power created this memorial to honor those who died. It's stark, still, and heartbreakingly detailed. Every curve in the iron speaks louder than words. You don't need an explanation. Just stand there and you'll feel it. Number 10. Apennine Colossus. This thing doesn't just stand in nature, it basically is nature. Sitting like a crumbled titan in the gardens of Villa Demidov in Tuscany, the Apennine Colossus looks half mountain, half man, and fully myth. Sculpted by Giambologna in the 1580s, this 35-foot beast was designed to embody the Apennine Mountains themselves. The beard? Stalactites. The body? Hollow, with hidden rooms inside. Light a fire in the head, and smoke used to pour out of the nose. And there's more. A dragon sculpture guards the inner chambers, which were once filled with pearls, shells, and tiny mosaics. Over time, parts of it broke down, but restoration work in the 1870s kept it from disappearing completely. Even now, the statue doesn't feel like a ruin. It feels like it's asleep, frozen mid-transformation, as if the mountain woke up, stretched once, and then dozed back into stone. It doesn't need to move. It already owns the landscape. Number 9. Non-violence. If a sculpture of a revolver with a knotted barrel looks familiar, that's because it's everywhere, on purpose. Non-violence, created by Swedish sculptor Carl Fredrik Reuterswärd, has become a global symbol for peace. The first version was installed outside the UN headquarters in NY in 1988. And since then, 30 more replicas have been placed across the world, from Sweden to Mexico. The piece was a direct response to the assassination of Reuterswärd's friend, John Lennon, in 1980. Commissioned by Yoko Ono, the work is modeled after a Colt Python .357 Magnum, its barrel twisted into a knot, unusable. In 1993, it was officially adopted as the emblem of the Non-Violence Project, which promotes conflict resolution through education. Unlike many monuments, this one doesn't need an explanation. It speaks clearly in every language. This is what stopping violence looks like: cold metal, silent message, and undeniable impact. Number 8. Man hanging out. In Prague's Old Town, it's not uncommon for tourists to stop in their tracks, eyes glued upward in shock. Dangling from a building by one hand is a life-sized figure that looks alarmingly real. That's Man Hanging Out, a sculpture by Czech artist David Czerny. Suspended since 1996, it's a bronze likeness of Sigmund Freud, coolly clutching a metal beam with one hand while the rest of his body dangles into the void. Locals are used to it, but emergency responders are not so much. They still get calls from people convinced it's a suicide attempt in progress. Czerny is known for his dark humor and biting commentary, and this statue is no exception. It's been interpreted as a symbol of intellectual crisis at the end of the 20th century, or as a metaphor for Freud's struggle with life and death. Either way, the statue has toured cities like London and Chicago, but its real home is still Prague's skyline. What do you think about it? Let us know. Number 7. Mudmaid. Well, you don't spot her right away. That's the whole point. The Mudmaid rests quietly under the trees in the lost gardens of Helligan, as if the earth itself decided to sculpt a woman and let her sleep forever. Artist Pete and Sue Hill created her during the garden's revival in the 1990s, but she feels like she's been there for centuries. Her body's covered in moss and creeping plants, changing with the seasons, lush in spring, nearly vanishing in fall. She's built from a framework of wood, mud, and living plants, turning slowly into part of the soil she lies on. The Mudmaid isn't alone. Nearby are the Giant's Head and Gray Lady, also buried in the trails of the woodland walk. But there's something gentler about her. She doesn't look sculpted. She looks fond, like you weren't supposed to see her, but you did. And that's why she stays with you. Number 6. Transcendence. Portland's got a reputation for quirky charm, and Transcendence fits right in. Perched on the 3rd floor of a brick building on Salmon Street, this huge bronze fish appears to be swimming straight through the wall. Sculpted by artist Keith Jellum, the piece spans 11 feet in length and hangs just above a seafood restaurant, because of course it does. At first glance, people walk right past it, but once noticed, it becomes the kind of detail that sticks in your memory. The fish's movement feels fluid despite being frozen, and its location makes it feel like it's mid-escape. Jellum's known for infusing his work with humor and motion, and this one captures both perfectly. There's no big philosophical meaning here, just art that blends into life and catches you off guard. It's proof that not everything has to shout to leave an impression. Sometimes it just swims by. Number 5. Bad Bad Boy. There's a massive naked boy in the middle of Helsinki, and no one seems particularly surprised anymore. Bad Bad Boy, standing at 8.5 meters tall, looks like he got caught mid-pee, and honestly, that's what's happening. Sculptor Tommy Toija installed him outside the Helsinki Computer and Game Console Museum in 2014, and reactions have ranged from amused to mildly scandalized. But Toija wasn't going for shock value alone. The statue's got that classic hands-caught look, frozen in embarrassment, like he didn't expect anyone to see. It's a big vulnerability, weirdly relatable, and kind of hilarious. The piece originally debuted during the Art Goes Kapaka Festival and was so talked about that it stayed around. Now, it's part of the city's landscape, unexpected, awkward, and impossible to ignore. Whether you think it's bold, bizarre, or totally absurd, it does what public art is supposed to do: stop you, make you look, and maybe even laugh. Sometimes it's best to see happiness in things that make no sense. Number 4. Sedlec Ossuary Chandelier. If there are words to define this, they'd be freakishly beautiful. The Sedlec Ossuary in the Czech Republic isn't just a chapel, it's a bone cathedral dressed in death's finest. Beneath the surface of a Roman Catholic church in Kutna Hora, this place holds the remains of nearly 70,000 souls, many wiped out by the Black Plague. But this isn't a graveyard. It's an art gallery made of skulls and femurs. The chandelier at its center is built using every single type of human bone. We're not kidding. In 1870, woodcarver František Rint was hired to organize the bones, but he didn't just tidy up. He sculpted an eerie Baroque masterpiece. Walls are trimmed with garlands of jawbones, pyramids of skulls rest like trophies, and rib cages curve into arches. This isn't horror, it's holy and haunting all at once. In 1995, UNESCO recognized the entire town for its haunting beauty. Number 3. Traffic Light Tree. In the middle of London's financial district once stood a tree, but not one with leaves or branches. Instead, this metallic monster had 75 traffic lights blinking in all directions. That's the Traffic Light Tree, a chaotic creation by French sculptor Pierre Vivant. Built in 1998, it was originally placed at a busy junction near Marsh Wall and quickly became a source of mass confusion for drivers. The lights flashed randomly, out of sync, and without any real traffic function. The idea? to reflect the unrelenting energy of London's financial heart, a city where decisions flash by, signals mix, and directions constantly change. Eventually, the sculpture was moved to Billingsgate Market to keep it from distracting drivers. It now stands safely out of the way, but its meaning remains intact. Vivant's commentary is sharp and strangely accurate. Sometimes the world sends too many signals at once, and all you can do is keep moving. Number 2. Mustangs of Las Colinas. Texas doesn't do anything small, and the Mustangs of Las Colinas are no exception. We mean, just look at these horses. Set in the heart of Williams Square in Irving, this bronze herd of wild horses charges through a plaza with energy frozen in metal. Sculpted by wildlife artist Robert Glenn, the 9 Mustangs are 1.5 times life-size, with cleverly placed water features simulating splashes as they gallop across the stone. Installed in 1984, the piece quickly became more than just public art. It's a monument to freedom, movement, and the raw, unfiltered spirit of early Texas. The Mustangs represent the untamed drive that helped shape the state, and their motion feels almost too alive to be static. The installation sparked so much attention that an entire museum dedicated to it was later opened nearby. They don't just stand there, they run, frozen mid-stride, embodying a kind of wild energy that's as Texan as it gets. Number 1. Knife Angel. The Knife Angel stands tall outside Coventry Cathedral in the UK, and it is one of the best things I've ever seen. It's huge, intense, and every inch of it delivers a gut-punching message. Each blade welded into its structure was handed in during a nationwide knife amnesty. Surrendered weapons that once represented violence. In total, 100,000 blades were used by sculptor Alfie Bradley to build the Angel. The UK's ongoing struggle with knife crime gave birth to this towering figure, created not just as a warning, but as a symbol of hope and change. Families who've lost loved ones to knife attacks have left messages engraved across the Angel's wings, turning it into both a memorial and a statement. It's not just about art. It's a reminder that there's always a different path than violence. The statue doesn't preach, it just stands there without any dreams of flying. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you very soon.